I hope everyone must have joined. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am Sahil Bhan, currently working as subject matter expert forensic science in Edinbox Communication Private Limited. I will be a moderator for today's webinar on the topic forensic science, exploring the fascinating world of crime. For those who are joining us for the very first time, I will recommend you all to do watch our previous webinars as well after the end of today's session. As you all know, we at Edinbox are organizing a number of webinars for by the leading experts in the field of forensic science for all the students. So, without wasting much time, I would like to present to you all today's expert speaker, Dr. Pooja Chakraborty. Pooja ma'am is there with us. Dr. Pooja has completed her bachelor's of dental surgery in 2018 with outstanding marks. On her quest to do something different, she went on to pursue her master's in forensic odontology thereafter. To her credit, she has international and national papers and poster presentation and also bagged few awards for the same. She has also contributed articles in both national as well as international journals and has even co-authored a chapter in recent advances in forensic odontology. Dr. Pooja is trained in performing dental autopsies. She has keen interest in forensic archaeology and forensic facial reconstruction. She is actively involved in few of in the field of forensic science and has addressed various talks for graduates, postgraduates, as well as for the security professionals. She has been invited as speaker on various platforms. She has also been honored with membership of the Institute of Disaster Management and Safety Sciences in Nigeria. The list of her achievement goes long and long. To sum up that long list, Dr. Pooja is currently working as assistant professor and head of the department in AFC group of colleges, Tamil Nadu. So on that note, I would like to thank all of our attendees joining us today and hope you will all enjoy the session. And if you have any queries during the session, please do mention them in the chat box and we will try to get to them as soon as possible. So this is all from my end. And now you will be hearing from Dr. Pooja. Thank you for being here with us, ma'am, today.
Thank you so much, Sahil, for this vivid introduction of mine. And first of all, I should thank you for the opportunity that you give me again. And it's the second time that we are interacting together. It's always fun to interact with this new forensic enthusiast. So definitely, it's a great opportunity for me as well to talk about this topic. Can you please share the screen? We are basically talking about a little bit background of forensic sciences, that is criminology. But before we start into criminology, I'm sure there are some of the new attendees who would like to know about what is forensic science about. So when you first hear the word forensic science, automatically the word that pops up is that adventure. The reason we think of adventure is that we all have grown up watching series like CID, Savdhan India, where a forensic expert is jumping around from here to there, breaking doors, working with guns, working with labs, and ultimately they are solving a case. So I'm sure it's so fascinating, right? So once we have that, we need to know the second part of forensic science. Now, let me just take a moment to tell you that forensic science is not only about finding out why did a crime happen or how did a crime happen. It also has to do with can we prevent crime. So altogether, if you're seeing forensic science and criminology, it's a full package where on one side you're investigating a crime, on the other side you're also trying to understand the reason behind the crime. What made a person to turn into a criminal? As you know that it's not that a person is a born criminal. जन्म के साथ साथ कोई criminal नहीं हो जाता है, right? So when you are having the second thought that how did a crime happen? So mostly you know that anger, frustration, these could be one major reasons, leading reasons. So before we understand that, let's start with हम क्राइम है, क्राइम क्या है? So crime basically is intentional commission of an act which is usually deemed socially harmful or dangerous and specifically defined, prohibited and punishable under the criminal law. लेकिन हमेशा ऐसा नहीं होता है कि जो आपने सोसाइटी के लिए खराब है दैट इज ओनली व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग एज द क्राइम. Let's take a simple example: alcohol, drunken driving, alcohol consumption. I'm telling. So if you are consuming alcohol in a state like Kerala, in a state like Kolkata, in a state like Delhi, it is not a crime if you are drinking it in a permissible limit. But the same thing, if you are doing it in a state like Gujarat, it becomes a crime. Why? Because the law of the land. So अगर हम crime की बात करें, there are two things that is involved. One is commission of a crime that is harmful to somebody. आपने किसी पे गोली चला दी, तो गोली चला के तो आप खेल नहीं सकते. Definitely the intention is to harm that person. And the second one is against the law of the land. So what is this against the law? Like I gave you the example, if you are drinking in a dry state, automatically it becomes a crime. So this is the first part of what a crime is all about. The next thing we are going to talk about is, next slide please, what constitutes a crime. So what are the characteristics of crime? हमें पता कैसे चलेगा कि crime है? अगर किसी ने मेरा बाल खींच दिया, for me it is a crime because somebody has tried to pinch my hair. Somebody is abusing me, that is a crime for me. But is it really such a big crime that for that he should be taken to the police? So there are certain characteristics that we are going to talk about because of which we actually need to say that a crime has been constituted. The first one for that will be external consequences. What are the consequences? What are the effects? What are the results of the external inhibition? Crime always have a harmful impact on the society, which may be social, personal, emotional, or the mental quotient. तो अगर किसी ने टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटी किया तो इट इज हैविंग अ सोशल इम्पैक्ट. अगर किसी ने मेरे पे गोली चलाई, इट इज हैविंग अ पर्सनल इम्पैक्ट. किसी ने मुझे गाली गलौज किया, दैट इज इमोशनल इम्पैक्ट. सेम वे मेंटली आई एम नॉट फिट, तो अब किसी ने मुझे इतना परेशान किया दैट आई एम नॉट एबल टू वर्क. सो दैट इज द फर्स्ट पार्ट, दैट इज द एक्सटर्नल कॉन्सिक्वेंस. Second one is there's a word called as actus reus. Actus reus का मतलब होता है the act. I thought मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है, मैं किसी को मार दूंगी. That is not crime. If I take a gun and shoot at somebody, मैंने पहले तो सोचा. सोचने का मतलब होता है आपका guilty mind. That is the third part, mens rea. What is the intention? अभी डॉक्टर से भी तो कई बार ऐसी गलतियां हो जाती है, लेकिन वो आदमी मर गया. But at this, the particular doctor as a criminal, because his intention was pure, his intention was to save the person, but somehow something went wrong. The doctors could not save the patient, so that is not a crime. So two things needed here is one, a guilty mind, and second, actus reus. सबसे पहले मैंने सोचा गलत. क्या गलत सोचा? मुझे किसी को मारना है. And second, I took a knife and stabbed that person. So this two together becomes a crime. But if there is only one part, मैंने सोचा मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है, मैं उसे मार दूंगी, लेकिन मैंने कुछ नहीं किया, so that is not a crime because the actus reus component is absent. Next you have is prohibited act. जैसे कि आपका existing law में जो already कहा गया है, it is prohibited. Like for example in Gujarat, consumption of your alcohol is a crime. So it is already prohibited. If you are doing that there, automatically it will constitute it as a crime. The last part is once you are committing a crime, the last part is your punishment. So once you have done a crime, automatically it calls for a punishment as well. So basically you have 5 characteristics of crime. The first one being your external consequences. The second one is your actus reus, that means the act of a crime. The third one is your guilty mind or your mens rea. The fourth one is any kind of prohibited act, and the fifth one is the punishment after the commission of crime. Let's go on to the next slide now. So we have certain kinds of classification as we talk about crime. So there are different kinds of classification. I have just taken two kinds of broad major classification. The first four categories is felony, misdemeanors, felony misdemeanors, and the infraction. So we'll just see in the next slide how it is related or how do we define that. If we talk about felonies, felonies are like the most serious kind of crime. जैसे कि किसी को मार देना, मर्डर, any kind of rape, any damage to the property, किसी property में आपने आग लगा दिया. Grievous injury मतलब भले ही किसी का इसमें मौत नहीं हुआ है, but at the same time it is going to kill somebody. आपने अगर किसी पे गोली चलाया है, maybe he is not killed, but the intention is to kill somebody. So that kind of crimes will be constituted as a felony. Second, what we have is the misdemeanor. Misdemeanors का मतलब होता है it is kind of a less serious than your felonies. It is either because the intent requirement is of a lower level or because the result is less extreme. जैसे यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई बहुत सीरियस हो गया, आपने पूरे प्रॉपर्टी को आग लगा दिया, इसलिए इसको थोड़े से लो कैलिबर क्राइम्स में इसको हमने क्लासिफाई किया है. The third category what we have is the felony misdemeanor. So this is a particular kind of crime in which the government is going to play the role in finding out whether it is a felony or is it a misdemeanor. So that will depend on situation. So crimes that the government can prosecute and punish either as a felony, that is a serious crime, or as a misdemeanor, which is a less serious crime. And the last one that we have here is infractions. There's a violation. So violations अगर मैं बोलूँ, the example could be red light है, आप जल्दी में हैं, तो आपने red light को नजरअंदाज कर दिया. You violated the law. Same way, speed limit लिखा गया है, not to cross over 80 km per hour. You are in a hurry, so you are driving at 120 km per hour. So these are the violations of the existing laws. So that's your infraction. So इसमें usually हम fine, e-चालान इन सब चीजों से चला लेते हैं. But ये ध्यान रखिए, felonies are the major reason because of which actually it's the highest level of crimes that we perform, the serious crimes as well. Next slide. So one more classification that we have is the color banded classification. Color banded classification may we have these certain colors like white collar crime, blue collar crime, pink collar crime, red collar, and the green collar. Let me take a moment to explain these to you in as simple as possible. First, we'll talk about white collar crime. Okay, so when we are talking about white collar, let me just tell you the story behind it. This is a crime which is performed by the suited booted people. That means I'm talking about it is done by the virtue of the brain. It is not by the virtue of the muscle power. So when you're thinking about crime, murder, what comes into your mind? बहुत shabbily dressed होगा, थोड़ा less educated होगा, थोड़ा गुंडे टाइप का दिखने वाला होगा, grooming अच्छा नहीं होगा, right? So this is not the case with it. White collar crime is like elite people, the intelligent people, people with a high society rank, जैसे कोई मैनेजर है, सीईओ है, किसी कंपनी का बहुत बड़ा मालिक है. These kind of suited booted people, if they are committing a crime by the virtue of its brain, it is called as white collar crime. A simple example of your white collar crime could be Nirav Modi case. आप सबको याद होगा, Nirav Modi Punjab National Bank. The entire system was collapsed because of a lot of corruption issues that has happened. कुछ 1000 करोड़ का बात था. So this was one example of white collar crime. जहाँ पे कोई खून खराबा नहीं हुआ, मारपीट नहीं हुआ, but एक बहुत बड़ा crime हुआ सिर्फ पैसों को लेकर. So that's the example of your white collar crime. The second one that you have is your pink collar crime, which refers to embezzlement related crimes, which are oftentimes lower to mid-level office women who steal their employees. For example, it could include bookkeepers. जैसे मैं एक बुक शॉप पे मालिक हूँ, मैं वहां से छोटे मोटे बुक चुरा लिए. स्टोर मैनेजर हूँ जहाँ से छोटे मोटे मैंने कुछ ग्रॉसरीज चुरा लिया. Same way, office managers, accountants who have the limited opportunity and access to intimate information. So this is your pink collar crime. The third one we have is the green collar crime. ग्रीन कॉलर क्राइम का मतलब है आपका कोई भी एनवायरमेंट रिलेटेड क्राइम, जैसे कि आपका कोल का तस्करी. आप सबको पता होगा कोल माइनिंग, कोल स्मगलिंग, दैट इज वन बिग इश्यू गोइंग ऑन. सेम वे वीराप्पन का नाम आपने सुना होगा, सैंडलवुड स्मगलर. So whenever you are treating the natural resources as your own property and committing any kind of mafia related work related to that, it will be constituted as your green collar crime. The fourth one we have is your blue collar crime. Blue collar crime is considered to be any crime which is committed by someone from the working class or lower class of the society. These crimes tend to be fueled by passion, lust, rage, or in opposition to white collar crimes, which tend to be involve extensive planning and meticulously calculated. एक होता है गुस्से में कुछ कर देना, और दूसरा होता है आपने बहुत बढ़िया से उसको प्लान किया. जैसे अगर मैं एग्जांपल दूं आपको, धूम 2 मूवी, ठीक है. धूम 2 मूवी में जब ऋतिक रोशन चोरी करने लगता है तो सब कुछ बहुत प्लान होता है. बहुत पहले से उसने सब कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन निकाला होता है कि किस टाइम पे कौन कहाँ पे रहता है, मुझे कैसे एंटर करना है, कहाँ से निकलना है. So this will be considered as a blue collar crime. The examples could be drug crimes, assault. आपको पता है कि पुलिस कब आएगी, कहाँ आएगी, कौन सा एरिया सीसीटीवी फुटेज के बाहर है, कौन सा एरिया सीसीटीवी फुटेज के अंदर है. So you have meticulously planned everything before you have executed. The last category of crime here, what we have is the red collar crime. Red collar crime is actually a combination. Combination कैसा? सबसे पहले by virtue of brain एक white collar crime होता है. उसको छुपाने के लिए थोड़ा बहुत मारपीट, थोड़ा बहुत मर्डर लाइक इश्यूज अगर हो जाता है, that is called as your red collar crime. So the first part is commission of the white collar crime, जहाँ पे कुछ स्मगलिंग हो सकता है, कुछ बड़े लोग ऐसे हो सकते हैं जिसने बहुत सारे पैसों का हेरा फेरी किया. उसके बाद अगर उस चीज को छुपाने के लिए मर्डर्स किए जाते हैं या फिर किडनैपिंग की जाती है, दैट विल कॉन्स्टिट्यूट एज अ रेड कॉलर क्राइम. ओके, so now that we are done with the classification of crime, the next few slides we are going to talk about two things. One, why is the crime happening, and second, why do we need a forensic scientist to play a role in this? So why we need a forensic scientist is, the answer is right there on your screen. The answer is artificial intelligence. अगर हम कंटिन्यूअसली कुछ सीरियल किलर्स वगैरह का फीचर्स जो है अगर हम स्टडी करें, वी कैन कम अप विद अ कंक्लूजन. इट्स जस्ट लाइक गूगल में अगर आपने एक बार कुछ सर्च किया, ऑटोमेटिकली आपके सोशल मीडिया में सजेशंस आने लगते हैं रिलेटेड टू दैट. लाइक इफ आई एम सर्चिंग समथिंग इन मिंत्रा, automatically this Myntra app is going to keep suggesting me something or the other in the various social media that I use, और automatically messages भेजना start कर देगी. So now Google knows that what is my preference, what is that I'm looking for. Same way, if we study thoroughly the crimes, the criminals specifically, there are certain features which is common in a criminal. जैसे कि eyebrows thick होना, जो आंखें हैं वो slanted होना. So these are this is just an example though. These are some of the morphological features which is present. Now with the help of artificial intelligence, if we can create a database जहाँ पे CCTV cameras तो already है, हर जगह है, आपके roads में है, airports में है, railway stations में है, everywhere it is there. So now if we are just linking that particular CCTV footage along with the artificial intelligence, it would be comparatively easy to predict how fairly a person has a chance to become a criminal. तो अगर आपको पता है पहले से ही कि ये जो आदमी है 80% चांसेस है that he might turn into a criminal. Why not take him into counsel as compared to the second part जहाँ पे क्राइम हो जाने के बाद आप ऐसे फोरेंसिक साइंटिस्ट जाएंगे और वहाँ पे आप उसको डैमेज कंट्रोल करें. So let's believe it that prevention is better than cure. So this is one aspect of forensic science which is very, very useful in protecting the society as well as preventing the occurrence of crime. The next slide is about what are the advantages that artificial intelligence has on us. Now, artificial intelligence is not such an easy process, let me tell you. When we are talking about AI, it sounds like, oh, this is so easy. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. There is a lot more technologies that is involved in that. But basically, what is the benefit of this technology is that in case of crime detection, कहीं पे भी अगर गन फायर होता है, you can detect that. You can detect the clues on the crime scene related to AI. You can detect bombs. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हिडन बॉम्ब्स रखे जाते हैं. वॉर जोन्स पे अगर आप जाएंगे तो वहां पे आप देखेंगे दैट यू हैव दिस हिडन लैंड माइंस, दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर देयर. द लास्ट थिंग इन केस ऑफ क्राइम प्रिवेंशन, प्रोटेक्टिंग द क्राइम स्पॉट. सावधान इंडिया अगर आप लोगों में से किसी ने देखा होगा तो आपको पता होगा, लास्ट में सावधान इंडिया के एक पार्ट आता था दैट दीज states are very safe. These states are not very safe. So how we know it? It is based on the number of crimes that is happening, whether in the daytime, whether in the night time, whether against the women, whether against the men. So these are the various things that together makes it crime prevention and crime prediction possibly. Predicting who will commit a crime. So if you already know who is going to commit a crime, automatically it is going to help really. So now there are many people just have this in mind. अगर हमने इसे छोड़ दिया कहीं ये दोबारा जाके कुछ गलती तो नहीं करेगा. So with the help of AI, we have a possibility that it can be predicting the future of the decisions that we are making. Okay. Next slide, we'll talk about the causes of crime. इतना सब कुछ तो हो गया, क्राइम क्या है, कैसे होता है, क्यों होता है, प्रिवेंट कैसे करेंगे, लेकिन होता क्यों है, वाई आर वी कमिटिंग क्राइम. सी आई नो दैट इफ आई किल समबडी आई एम गोइंग टू बी जेल. तो उसके बावजूद what makes me to commit a crime? These are some of the reasons that is enlisted on the screen. First one is the physical causes. फिजिकल कॉजेस में आपका ये पार्ट आ जाता है दैट पर्सन इज हैंडीकैप. अगर एक पर्सन हैंडीकैप है और उसके सामने सब लोग नाच रहे कूद रहे, तो इट्स ऑब्वियस दैट ही इज हैविंग दैट गिल्ट दैट ओ मेरे पास हाथ नहीं है इसलिए हो रहा है. So physical inabilities, physical abnormalities, not getting fair chances, इन सब चीजों की वजह से दिमाग में एक जेलसी बनता है. दैट कुड बी वन रीजन ऑफ क्राइम. सेकेंड इज फैमिली कॉजेस. बहुत बड़ा फैमिली है, कमाने वाला कोई नहीं है, तो आपको पेट चलाने के लिए सही चोरी करना पड़ेगा. एंड इफ यू आर कमिटिंग लाइक अ थेफ्ट, इट इज इक्विवेलेंट टू अ क्राइम. देन वी हैव सोशल कॉजेस. यूजुअली द एग्जांपल ऑफ सोशल कॉजेस वुड बी टीन एजर्स बुली, जहाँ पे टीन एजर्स जो कॉलेज गोअर्स होते हैं, स्कूल गोअर्स होते हैं, एक दूसरे की खिंचाई करते हैं. अल्टीमेटली व्हाट हैपेंस इज अ क्राइम हैपेंस आउट ऑफ इट. इकोनॉमिक कॉजेस. इकोनॉमिक कॉजेस में ज्यादा से ज्यादा पैसे लेना. क्राइम इसलिए हर वक्त नहीं होता है कि मुझे किसी पे गुस्सा है, मुझे किसी को मारना है, बट इट कुड ऑल्सो हैव द ग्रीड ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर पर्सन. पॉलिटिकल रीजन. I don't want to explain this. All of you are watching the news, so you know what political causes could kind of push us to commit a kind of a crime. Psychological causes. There are some people who are psychologically unstable. Diseases like schizophrenia, diseases like post-traumatic disorder, which can lead a person to commit a crime. Even commonly, some diseases like multiple split personality disorders can also compel a person to commit a crime. And sometimes there are other causes which is not enlisted here. So other causes में कुछ भी हो सकता है. It could, आप लोगों ने आजकल न्यूज में सुना होगा, कभी कभार ऐसा होता है 1 रुपए के लिए आदमी किसी को मार दे रहा है. तो इट्स नॉट दैट वो 1 रुपया बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट द ग्रोइंग फ्रस्ट्रेशन, जिसको हम बोलते हैं टीन एजर्स में उबलता खून है, जोश है, तो वो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. टू मच ऑफ ईगो, टू मच ऑफ फाइनेंशियल पावर. मेरे घर वाले बहुत पावरफुल है, आई एम द सिस्टर, आई एम द डॉटर ऑफ अ मिनिस्टर. So all these things together constitute a commission of a crime. Next. Science. So once we have this forensic science, only then actually forensic science, law, all of this together is going to come and help you in solving a crime, setting up a stable society. So अगर मैं forensic के हिसाब से बात करूँ, the classification is very different from what we have been talking now. So this classification presently on the screen is a more scientific law, legal basis of a classification where we have cognizable offenses,
कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंस का आपका मतलब हो
या जहाँ पे पुलिस को आपको अरेस्ट करने के लिए वारंट की जरूरत नहीं है. दैट मीन्स यू हैव कमिटेड अ सीरियस क्राइम इन विच द पुलिस इज नॉट लायबल टू गेट अ वारंट. जैसे कि आपने मूवीज में देखा होगा ना कि पुलिस आई, वारंट लेके आए, कभी वारंट नहीं लेके आए. बट इन केस ऑफ नॉन कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंसेस द पुलिस हैज टू हैव अ वारंट इन ऑर्डर टू अरेस्ट समबडी. इन केस ऑफ कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंस वारंट नहीं चाहिए अरेस्ट करने के लिए, लेकिन अरेस्ट के 24 घंटे के अंदर आपको अरेस्टेड पर्सन को मैजिस्ट्रेट के सामने पेश करना पड़ेगा, वरना तो पुलिस किसी को भी गायब कर देगी, है ना. So rules are definitely in place. We are just putting it in a different zone. जैसे कि कोई टेररिस्ट है, तो आप टेररिस्ट के लिए आप वापस मैजिस्ट्रेट के पास जाएंगे, वारंट लेके आएंगे, फिर अरेस्ट करेंगे. दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. So you immediately arrest that particular person who is committing a cognizable offense like a murder, like a gang rape, like a terrorist activity. So such way we have two offenses, bailable and non-bailable. Bailable offenses मतलब जिन crimes के लिए आप उस इंसान को बेल दे सकते हैं. So law decides that when can you give the bail, when you are sure that if this person goes outside, he is not going to manipulate with the evidences. That is one case where the bails can be given. But if the law feels that अगर ये बाहर गया, so he is going to manipulate the evidences, he might kill the evidences, kill the witnesses, then it can convert into a non-bailable offense where it is not necessary for that particular person to be bailed. Next slide. So today we are just talking about this criminology part. This criminology part is an integral part of your forensic sciences subject. There are majority of the colleges which actually prefers a degree with BSc Forensic Science and Criminology. So later on, you always have an option of going for a PG in the criminology subject itself. By chance, if you don't want to get involved directly into forensic sciences. So similarly, there are different parts of the criminology subject, victimology and penology. Penology is the study of punishment. किसको कितना punishment देना चाहिए, which what is enough, what is not enough. Even debates are going on in the sense that is it right for killing somebody? That is, I'm talking about capital punishment. So, and like in the words of Gandhi, an eye for an eye makes the world blind. तो भले ही एक बहुत heinous crime हुआ है, but how fair is it to award somebody with a capital punishment? And the second aspect is that अगर हमने capital punishment नहीं दिया, so what more should we give? So these are some of the aspects that we talk in penology. Victimology का मतलब है to study the victimization, the victimology process, जो victim है उसको study करना. Because whenever a crime is happening, there are two people involved. One is the victim, जिसके साथ crime हुआ, and second is the accused, जिसने crime किया. So these two people together constitute this entire thing, and all of it is moderated by the forensic sciences, जहाँ पे crime होने के बाद we are going to do the damage control, जैसे कि identify करना कौन victim है. Second, पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन खत्म करने के बाद हम सेव कर सकते हैं that how did a crime happen, why did a crime happen, etc. So these are few of the things that we need to highlight in case of forensic sciences. If anybody of you is interested to know more about forensic sciences in simple, you can just tune into our channel. There are previous lectures which is already available. That will be very beneficial to you.
which has a lot of course in today's time. The reason is that crime is not going to stop. So definitely we need people like you, the youngsters, and of course we need honest and sincere, hardworking people who can completely change the game of forensic sciences and again instill faith and responsibility in the judicial system. So that's all from my presentation. If we have any questions from your side, I'll be happy to take that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja. That was a very informative session for the students. We'll take some questions from the students. Okay. Ma'am, there's one question from Sharon Shahji. Will hiring an assassin will be can be in a white collar crime? कि जैसे मूवीज में दिखाते हैं किसी ने कोई
Just give me
किलर
one
हायर कर
second,
दिया.
please. Okay, so answering your question, will hiring an assassin be a white collar crime? Why you want to hire somebody? Is it like Sharon? Okay, jokes apart. Um, hiring of an assassin is actually not a white collar crime, because if you are hiring an assassin, of course you want to kill somebody, there will be a lot of bloodshed. It is not by the virtue of brain but by the virtue of muscle power. So no, it's not a white collar crime, but still my suggestion is don't try this.
Yeah. One question from is here, ma'am. What are the common types of crime which are encountered in these days?
What is the scope of government job? Okay, as in you're going to get a lot of money, a stable job, कोई आपको अपने मर्जी से धक्के मार के नहीं निकाल सकता. You have to stable timing, 9 to 5 job है, pensions, perks. These are the benefits of a government job. But let me tell you, forensic in private is also doing excellent. So by chance, if you don't end up getting a government job, don't get disheartened. There is a lot more in private, and especially youngsters like you, I really have high hopes. Startup companies are coming up with forensic sciences. So definitely come out, think something new. That's the best part here.
Any more questions? Okay, there is one question, ma'am, here. What is the role of forensic scientist in preventing the crime? Like crime होने के बाद तो forensic science का यूज बच्चों को समझ आ ही रहा है, लेकिन अगर क्राइम होने से पहले forensic scientist कुछ ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि क्राइम रेट कम हो जाए इंडिया में?
Sir, you're not audible. Can you please just repeat your question?
Can you hear me, ma'am? Hello? Can you hear me, ma'am? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. My voice is not audible to you. I'll have to rejoin, I guess. Hello? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir, we'll manage, sir. No issues. Your voice is somehow not. It's very soft, actually.
And can you rejoin the session?
Yes, let me leave and rejoin it.
So there must be some network issue. Pooja ma'am will join with us in a bit. Okay. जब तक पूजा मैम ज्वाइन करते हैं, मैं आप लोगों के साथ एफसेट के बारे में कुछ बातें शेयर कर लेता हूँ. As you all know, EFSET, as you are coming into the field of forensic science, so for that, I would like to tell you about EFSET. EFSET is for an All India Forensic Science Entrance Test Program, which is a national level entrance test program for that provides you the opportunity to get admission in top universities across all India. Right now, there are more than 60 universities associated with EFSET at this time, and after clearing the exam, you can take admission in any one of them. So, registration के लिए आपको हर यूनिवर्सिटी की वेबसाइट पे जाके रजिस्टर करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आप EFSET के थ्रू 60 यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में एडमिशन लेने का मौका पा सकते हैं. Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes, audible, perfectly audible.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay, I was telling the students about EFSET. So, okay, we'll take the questions first, then we'll talk about EFSET later. Okay, and there is a question.
Okay.
What are the
So let's take
chances
the
to go
question. What
to
are the chances?
abroad after the
Yeah.
course?
Chances are ample. There are many universities in abroad which can offer you MSc. In fact, not just forensic sciences, but analytical toxicology, chemistry, biotechnology. See, I don't believe in the fact that forensic sciences is for one subject. But in BSc, since you're studying everything, you can always opt for a specialization. Now, when we are talking about India, what we have is MSc in forensic science with specialization in something. But this is a difference in abroad. In abroad, there are many universities which specifically offers what you want. MSc in analytical toxicology, MSc in forensic ballistics. So this is one advantage that you have in abroad. But it's not that we are at a loss because yes, forensic is interdisciplinary. So you cannot say that I am a biology expert, मुझे तो fingerprint कुछ नहीं आता. You cannot reply that. So yes, you need to know 90% about your specialization, but 10% you need to have the idea about the surrounding subjects as well.
Even universities in India are improving right now, ma'am.
It is definitely. Quality of education is improving, standards are improving, plus we have a lot of MOUs with other countries as well. So that is definitely a plus point. And given that we are in an online mode today, we are getting so many experts. So once we are getting the experts, we are getting their experiences, what they have learned, what they have not learned, what more we could do. So of course this is improving the situation right now.
Yes, ma'am, sure. So, there are any more questions? Okay, ma'am, one question from here is, what is the role of forensic scientist in preventing the crime? Like society के लिए forensic science is like after crime, evidence collection and all these things. लेकिन क्या forensic scientist ऐसा कर सकते हैं जिससे crime rate कम हो जाए इंडिया में?
Yes,
Crime होने से पहले
definitely.
कुछ help forensic scientist की.
First thing, what we need to know is what are the crime hotspots. पूरे इंडिया में जाके अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करके कोई फायदा नहीं होगा. सो फर्स्ट यू नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई द हॉटस्पॉट. हॉटस्पॉट्स आर द प्लेसेस जहाँ पे मैक्सिमम क्राइम हो रहा है. उस हॉटस्पॉट में भी आपको एक स्टैटिस्टिकल एनालिसिस चाहिए जहाँ पे व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्राइम इज मोर. So once you know murder like crime is more. See, I come from a medical background, so I always give this example to everybody. बुखार है, अगर बुखार है, you will give a paracetamol. लेकिन जब तक आपको ये पता नहीं चलेगा why did the fever come, पैरासिटामोल देने से कोई फायदा नहीं होगा. पैरासिटामोल का ऐसे खत्म होते ही वापस से बुखार आता है. So you first need to know what is the reason of the commission of a crime. So usually, what I blame is that a corrupt system as a whole is going to encourage the corrupt people again. तो जब तक हमारा तो बहुत बुरी तरीके से मुझे सजा मिलेगी. अगर मैं एंशियंट टाइम्स की बात करूं जहाँ पे चौराहे पे ले जाके सबको लटका देते थे कि देखो आपने क्राइम किया है, तो क्या एक सब में डर रहता है. ओके, आई एम नॉट सपोर्टिंग दैट कि हमें चौराहे पे लटकाना है, बट जस्ट द एग्जाम्पल टू गिव यू द मीनिंग व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू कम टू. सो वी हैव टू फर्स्ट डू टू थिंग्स, इंस्टिल फियर इन पीपल कि हमें ये नहीं करना है. व्हाट वी हैव राइट नाउ इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग
Are you there, ma'am?
If the situation
at all. What we want is a fast system जहाँ पे जस्टिस मिले और जस्टिस जल्दी से भी सर्व हो, ताकि किसी को ये अफसोस नहीं रहे या फिर ये ना लगे कि हम तो आज ये कर रहे हैं, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. Political influences should be reduced. In fact, not just political, any kind of powerful. जैसे कि हमारा लॉ जो है, आपने स्टैट्यूट देखा होगा, so it's a blind. Why is it blind? It is blind because in front of law, everybody is equal. But then talking about it, is it really equal? Do we see everybody with the equal eyes? अगर हम एक एनकाउंटर एक गरीब आदमी का कर सकते हैं, are we going to do the same if he is a minister who is a criminal? So answer is no. So that means we have to establish a system of equality. इक्वालिटी के जब बात इक्वालिटी पे आएगी, उसके बाद ही हम जस्टिस प्रोसेस को स्पीडन अप कर सकते हैं, एंड देन वी कैन मेक पीपल सेंसिटाइज, मेक पीपल अवेयर दैट अगर आपको लगता है कहीं से आपके साथ गलत हुआ है, कम एंड approach the police system. Say that to change. We need to change the whole idea. And for that, a lot of work is needed, especially awareness and understanding. And इन सबके अलावा, if I'm talking just scientifically, artificial intelligence, मैंने आज ही आपको बताया. So this is of course one method how you can predict crime. But ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर artificial ने AI ने बताया कि ये 95% क्रिमिनल बनेगा तो पक्का क्रिमिनल बनेगा. So it's just a probability match. मतलब ये मशीन है, गलत भी हो सकता है. But yes, some assumptions, some predictions it is making, and आपको बस एक rehabilitation counseling करना है ताकि आगे जाके ना हो. Okay, one more common reason that I have seen for commission of a crime is a very very traumatic childhood. तो जो लोग भी ये traumatic childhood से cross करते हैं, there is a tendency in them that eventually they become very very moody, very very cranky, बहुत जल्दी frustrate हो जाते हैं. As a result of frustration, they are very prone to commit a crime. तो ये भी इंश्योर करना हमारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनता है कि जो चाइल्डहुड है बच्चे का, वो एक अच्छे परवरिश से बने. See, I'm not talking to talk about the disparity between the rich and the poor. ऐसा कहीं पे नहीं लिखा है कि जो रिच है वो बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा है या पुअर है अच्छा नहीं है. I have seen both the opposite poles as well. बट लेकिन एक अच्छा परवरिश जहाँ पे रियल एजुकेशन का मतलब बच्चों को समझाया जाए, that is very important.
As you as you are talking about AI, so आपको भी पता है कि साइबर क्राइम आज के टाइम पे बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ चुका है. So my question is, what measures can an individual take to protect themselves from cyber crime?
देखिए, अगर मैं कहूँ कि सोशल मीडिया यूज मत करो, ये तो कोई सुनने से रहा. तो यूज विद द कॉशन. जब भी एक मैसेज आ रहा है ना, 10,000 आपको मिल गए, तुरंत उसको क्लिक नहीं करना है. 10,000, try to understand that everything comes with a hard work. कोई आपको ऐसे 10,000 को मैं 64,000 का तुरंत. तो why are we clicking? We are clicking because of our greed. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि आपको नहीं पता कि 64,000 का लैपटॉप आपको कोई फ्री में नहीं दे सकता. तो फर्स्ट वी नीड टू कंट्रोल दैट ग्रीड. ग्रीड जब कंट्रोल हो जाएगा, उसके बाद आज के डेट में न्यूज पे आ रहा है, सब जगह आ रहा है, आपको पता है कैसे लोगों को बेवकूफ बनाया जा रहा है, कैसे स्वाइप कार्ड्स में भी प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही है. आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट द फैक्ट कि आप पूरा सोशल मीडिया बंद कर लीजिए, गूगल पे है, पेटीएम है, कुछ भी है, थोड़ा सा अवेयर. Because I know many educated people have been cheated of this. Actually, they are the first people who are cheated. अभी एक गरीब के पास में ना फोन है, ना गूगल पे है, ना लाखों रुपए है चोरी करने के लिए. बट दिस काइंड ऑफ स्कैम एक्चुअली स्टार्टेड विद द हायर सोसाइटी, जो सो कॉल्ड हमारे पढ़े लिखे सोसाइटी वाले. देन स्लोली इट बिकेम इक्वल. मिडिल क्लासेस में भी हुआ, लोअर क्लासेस में भी हुआ. So just be a little aware. The technology is good, but at the same time, it has its own disadvantages. Let's know about it, let's talk about it, and let's see out.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. Okay, so it's already been too late, ma'am. So last question from my side. What advice would you like to give to someone who is interested to pursue a career in the field of forensic science? Like new students are coming, everyone is interested to join forensic science.
First of all, welcome wholeheartedly into the world of forensic science. This is one world which has a lot to give you. You know, if you can become an engineer, you become only an engineer. If you are a doctor, you become only a doctor. But it is only forensic science जहाँ पे आपको सारे सब्जेक्ट का बराबरी से फील मिलेगा. आप एक फोटोग्राफर एक्सपर्ट बन सकते हैं. आप अगर इंजीनियर है तो फोरेंसिक इंजीनियर बन सकते हैं. आप फोरेंसिक मेडिसिन में जा सकते हैं. इट इज अ इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी सब्जेक्ट. So it's more like acting, जहाँ पे आप कुछ भी बन सकते हैं. So forensic science में भी you can explore. There is a lot more that you can do. BSc, MSc आपने किया, आप चाहो तो रिसर्च में जा सकते हैं. See, forensic में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि हमें सब कुछ पता है. अगर मैं मेडिसिन की बात करूँ, we are just following the old trend. बुखार है, पैरासिटामोल ही देना है. You cannot experiment it. But in forensic sciences, you have a lot of areas, lot of scope just for the experimentation part. In foreign, one of you asked me to go to abroad. If you're going to abroad, there is a huge opportunity. Now, Indian universities themselves are providing you fellowships, providing you research association, kind of you have this research associate course. So you have lots of ideas. You are a young blood, young, energetic, नए ideas लेके आओ. You know, it's not about just going through the book. जो है पढ़ लिख लिया 90% मार्क्स ले लिया. Forensic is definitely not that. Forensic is about presence of mind, use of skills. और skills तभी होगा जब आप गलतियां करोगे. और गलतियां कब करोगे? जब आप सीखोगे. So it's all a complete process. जब तक आप ये सोचेंगे अरे गलती हो गया तो जब तक करोगे नहीं सीखोगे कैसे आप. So definitely you have this whole thing. See, first of all, don't come into forensic science with a guilt. अरे मम्मी ने बोला था नीट क्रॉस करो, नीट नहीं हुआ. मैं तो आईआईटी में जाने वाला था, नहीं हुआ. Don't have that guilt. You know, it's over. It's over. Come with a very fresh energy and energy ऐसा लेकर आओ. अब तो इसी फील्ड में नाम रोशन करना है. देखो डॉक्टर तो इतने सारे हैं, मतलब आपकी उम्र निकल जाएगी एक फेमस डॉक्टर बनने के लिए. फोरेंसिक साइंस फील्ड अभी भी खाली है. थोड़ा मेहनत कर लो, क्या पता यू कैन बिकम वन ऑफ द बिग साइंटिस्ट हियर. So you have less competition here. मतलब this is just for fun I'm explaining maybe, but it's true. We have less competition here. तो आपके पास पूरा मौका है. आप कहीं पे भी जाओ, अपना नाम रोशन करो, माँ बाप का नाम रोशन करो. So of course, but come with an open mind. ये रिजर्वेशन लेके मत आना कि नीट नहीं हुआ, आईआईटी नहीं हुआ. जो नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ. या तो वेट करो फिर नहीं. लेकिन अगर फोरेंसिक में आ रहे हो, come to see, come with the acceptance that okay, now I am in forensic science, I have to do my best and focus on learning. You know, most of
So मैं वही कह रहा था कि एफसेट एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म बच्चों को प्रोवाइड कर रहा है इस टाइम पे जिन्हें अपना करियर एक्सेल करना है इन द फील्ड ऑफ फोरेंसिक साइंस. So right now there are 60 plus universities associated with EFSET, and you can take admission in any one of them by clearing the exam. So for those who are still unaware about the exam, the important exam of EFSET is scheduled on 28th of May, and the result will be declared on 30th May. Those who have already registered themselves for the exam, the best of luck to all of them. And those who are still thinking about registering themselves, go as soon as possible and register yourself for this important exam and start your. And this is the first start your career in the field of forensic science. So okay, all right. Well, that was a wrap for today. It was an informative session from you, ma'am, and we all got a chance to learn so much from you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for being here with us today. And thank you to all the attendees also.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the attendees also who have given their time, and that was a wonderful response from you all too. Okay, so I'm sure the webinar has been a productive and beneficial